I'm gonna do my best to wear this until at least one person is jailed.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the former Prince Andrew, has been arrested.
Bad Bunny was chosen this year. If Kid Rock is all you have on your side, like, you already lost. Puerto Rico is America, you know? Defeatist mentality. I just wanna drink my beer, walk my dog. Like, that was the song. For those that don't know, I was a musician. I dropped my last album in October of 2025, and I've known what's going on with the government. This is a great occurrence to kind of Matt Walsh angle of white Americans or Christian Americans being redacted because they are implicit. They're implicated in someone like him or Muslim Lantern or Muhammad Hijab. Of course, psyops are needed in order to further. What's up, guys? My name is Jovian. This is Crescent Cross Covenant Coalition. Assalamu alaikum to my brothers and sisters in Islam and to everyone else who's watching. What's up? The point of this channel, in case you're new, is to heal the divide between Christians and Muslims, showcase how we're 90% aligned, and then take that healing, bring it into politics, and make the West, and specifically in my case, America, a better, more God-fearing, or at the minimum, make it more inclusive of God's lessons and centered around God. So yeah, like and subscribe, follow, depending on where you're watching. Please share with your friends or share with your family, anyone who might resonate with this message or anyone who might not be supportive of this message. Alrighty, so this Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime show, it's really not that serious, bro. Like yeah, football's American, I get that. You know, Jay-Z is basically at the forefront of booking the acts over I don't know if it's been like over 5 years or around the last 5 years. And they've had a variety, right? The Weeknd, Kendrick Lamar, Bad Bunny. So to like the white nationalists or just white Americans who think this is some sort of psyop to spit in white people's face or to take away American tradition. It's like, no, like, it's just, these are some of the bigger acts that more people are familiar with. Bad Bunny was chosen this year. And also because of, the American empire, Puerto Rico is America. You know, so it's like, okay, it's all in Spanish because this guy speaks mostly Spanish, and like, you guys have your panties in a bunch. You know, so many of people I've seen who are, anti Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl, anti it being all in Spanish, boycotted it for Turning Point USA collaborating with Rumble for a Kid Rock protest halftime show. It's like, yo, like, if Kid Rock is all you have on your side, like, you already lost. Doing that protest halftime show means you already lost. And white people in America have this victim mentality where they just like want to be left alone to their culture, as if they're like their culture is something truly being villainized or being removed. And to a certain degree, I understand. I understand that the white population is decreasing in America, so I get it. But it's misguided, and it's being directed. It's being directed in a weird way. It's like, okay, Kid Rock, and the guy who's like strumming his guitar, saying he wants to be left alone with his dog, and watch the game, and drink his beer, and smoke his cigarette or something. It's like, bro, defeatist mentality, and I would even go so far to say it's ghetto. Like, that Turning Point USA thing was ghetto. You guys are talking about black and brown people twerking and doing all this debauchery on primetime TV for the Super Bowl, but like, that's gonna win every time. I mean, it was pretty tasteful. It wasn't even that haram, as we would say. It wasn't even that crazy, but there's a much better response than this defeatist sort of mentality response with this Rumble halftime show with Kid Rock and the stupid hillbilly saying he wants to just play with his dog and drink his beer. Something like something like he believes a woman is a woman and a man is a man, and since there are only two genders, he's being destroyed. So like, just leave him alone leave him alone to play with his dog. It's like, but then the opposite is Bad Bunny performing, and like the lyrics in his song, whether you speak Spanish or you translate it, all the songs he was talking, like there was nothing anti-white, nothing anti-American. It's all just like having fun with friends and being in love and loving Puerto Rico and loving America even. When all the flags came out, the American flag led the way. And other than these one little gay N-words, this one little clip of the gay N-words kissing, it was like really quick. Nothing was like anti-white, anti-American. For me, I didn't want any LGBTQ shit in there, but that one little clip, most people didn't even notice. So really, it actually wasn't even that good. Like all this complaining was like cool, like Bad Bunny's cool, For those that don't know, I was a musician. I dropped my last album in October of 2025, and I've unfortunately, as a Muslim, but unfortunately as someone who loves music, I haven't listened to a single song since October of 2025 because one, it's haram, but also I just can't. It's like I dropped my album, my final album. I'm out of the industry. I'm out of the music industry, and I don't want to be depressed, reminiscing. And as I've said in a previous episode, I hate nostalgia. I hate looking back. I'm alive, so I should only be thinking about now and the future. So music is done, so I don't even want to consume it, which is sad when I think about it more sentimentally. Is that a word? Sentimentally? When I think about it from a more sentimental perspective, but it's what has to be done. But objectively, from what I've heard from Bad Bunny in the past, like he's great. He's very, very good to me as an artist. But yeah, there was nothing anti-white. There was like nothing anti-American really. Basically, just saying like it's not just America that's America. It's all the Americas, Canada included, and all of Latin America. And like, that's a pretty, whether you agree or disagree, objectively, like that's like a strong statement. It's not anti-white, it's not anti-America, it's like America plus, right? It's like America plus all these other countries. And like, objectively, that's like a very positive outlook on the future compared to, I just want to drink my beer, walk my dog. Like that was the song. And it's like, your politicians, your elites, your leaders are owned by Israel, are owned by the files. And what you're complaining about right now is that the Super Bowl is in Spanish. Really. That is either you're just or clearly that the objective and the like protest of this Super Bowl halftime show as a whole is clearly a psyop to like get the people who might normally be like more vocal about what's going on with the files and what's going on with the government. This is a great occurrence to kind of shift them into this. And you get this rah-rah sort of like Matt Walsh angle of white Americans or Christian Americans saying this is like anti-American. It's like, no, bro, like the defeatist song about walking your dog, like you want to be left alone and walk your dog, like that's anti-American, like what? Like how is that forward thinking? Like how is that innovative? How is that new? How is it fresh? Between that dumb shit and then the files, like Republicans are donezo. Democrats got it. It's a rebrand, it's a refresh, no more woke. The Democrats got it, the liberals got it, done. And I'm neither of those things. I don't play in that false dichotomy. But yeah, I don't exist in that paradigm, and I think that for the files to be out, much like I said in my last episode, to know that there's more than meets the eye there, and they've only released half of the files as of today, and 6 specific names are being redacted, one being Les Wexner, and one being this billionaire from the Emirates, Soleimani something, I forgot his name, but like being redacted because they are they're implicated in helping Epstein, being co-conspirators, not just a random island visitor. That's us. Yeah, like that's what we should be concerned about, not Spanish being spoken at the Super Bowl. It's like it's a halftime show where just normie Americans are watching, and Bad Bunny's a huge artist. He's been like the #1 artist on Spotify for a bunch of years consecutively. They didn't choose him because he speaks Spanish and that's like a slap in the face or a spit in the face to white Americans. It's like he's just one of the biggest people who are going to draw more eyes onto Super Bowl, onto the halftime show, onto the commercials that are played, onto getting business for all these local restaurants that are going to feed these parties for Super Bowls, or the bars or the venues, whatever it may be. So it's not that deep. But what is deep is just another layer of a psyop. Whether it's a psyop or it's real, that's another layer of division. Just another layer of division, which Satan loves. You know, Satan loves the division, because if we can't even team up or build a coalition, which is what this channel's for, despite any differences, minor or big or large, that we may have, if, let's say in my case, if Christians and Muslims are so close in values and in faith, then of course psyops are needed in order to further, divide us and further us apart. And whether it's like what I spoke about in the past, where some of these Muslims who are running for, political seats, they're like all DSA, they're all Democratic Socialists of America. And as I've said in the past, socialism is antithetical to Islam in every way. So that's a dividing factor. Calling Prophet Muhammad a pedophile, God forbid, astaghfirullah, that's dividing. There, again, like I've said, there are Christians who don't even know that Muslims believe Jesus to be the Messiah. He's mentioned 25 times in our book, in the Quran. Miriam, who's Virgin Mary, like, she has a whole chapter just for her. We have a whole chapter on the lineage of Miriam with her father, Imran. So Jesus is not only regarded extremely high, but we believe him to also be the Messiah, and he's going to come back down during the end times. We believe that, just like you guys. The difference is we don't add the deity aspect. We don't believe he's God or the Son of God. We believe he's a prophet, much like Noah and Moses. And either they like to hide those facts that I just shared, or they'll manipulate it in ways and say, oh, like, Jesus, your Jesus, which is our prophet Isa, is two different people. They're two different people. Even though they were both born from a virgin, spoke at birth, some version of ascending to heaven. We both have that belief of ascension. So they don't want you to know that stuff. And I think that's where, that's where Satan wins. And something that Daniel Hakinkaju, I don't know how to say his name properly, really dope. I don't want to call a Muslim creator, but just like this really amazing Muslim who is truly a genius. One of like top 3 favorite Muslim people on social media. I feel like a content creator is so diminishing. It's like so degrading to call them that, since like they're not making content for entertainment. Like, it's actually someone like him or Muslim Lantern or Muhammad Hijab. They're not content creators. Like they're spreading the message of God, of Allah. So that's like, content is like an entertainment, doing dances and shit. It's like, it's not the same. But Daniel Hakinkaju, something like that. I apologize that I'm saying the name terribly. He was speaking about, on one of his last episodes, oh, by the way, I didn't even comment on this hat for my last episode. I'm going to do my best to wear this every episode until someone, at least one person, is jailed.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the former Prince Andrew, has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. So just to give you some more context on this, this is clearly linked to the files that have been coming out about...
From the files. Until one singular person, at minimum, at the very least, is jailed for being a co-conspirator or being implicated in some sort of way in the disgusting satanic evil that was committed in those files, I'm wearing this hat every day. And that's my little rage bait promise / protest. Because as long as no one is punished, at the minimum, to me, everyone should get the death penalty. But I guess I'm just very extreme, and I think I prefer to live in a paradigm where there are consequences for actions, and the more evil and satanic and more purposefully evil the action is, I think the more extreme the punishment should be. So in this case, to me, if I was running, in this instance, it's like they deserve the death penalty, but then at the same time, it's like, you know, there's a balance of them also being miserable on earth at the same time. So it's tough, but I think being hung publicly should be always an option for people like this. And until there's a decision of what we're gonna do with some of these people, until there are some sort of arrest or some sort of consequence, then this hat has to be worn, because this is Jeffrey Epstein's America. If nothing happens, if there are no consequences for, at the minimum, having blackmail on our elites and politicians and doing things for that means this is Jeffrey Epstein's America and Satan's America as well, because all these people are working. It's always darker and always deeper, and there's so many verses in the Quran that speak about the evils of the world and how the world is going to be, especially towards Muslims. And it's easy, especially as someone who was born Muslim. I wasn't, but especially as born Muslims, you know, or even in the Bible has verses too. It's easy to think that it's passive, like, oh, there's murder, you know, like, unfortunately there's rape, there's like corruption, like interest, blackmail, you know, mafia level things. But reading these kinds of verses, and especially growing up, like thinking everything's fear-mongering, it's easy not to think that it's always deeper, always satanic, always like ritualistic sacrifice, human sacrifice to dark entities, to what we would call jinn, right? To the demons. That's what these verses are implying, either directly or a little more subtle. It's not like, you know, unfortunate, like the random gangbanger, like the random shootout between gangs, or the random hostage situation, or school shooter. Like, those are all devastating, but there's like deeper human level, which is what Epstein really was, you know, beyond just blackmail. And I think that's why I say this is Satan's America, and this is Jeffrey's America, until something is done, until Christians and Muslims come together, despite a 10% difference, not even, focusing on the similarities in our faith, and the fact that in terms of our belief system, it's like cousins, bro. It's really close. I was raised Roman Catholic. You know, I know what I'm talking about. And also where my strong suit is, and also where I intend to, you know, maneuver myself into and infiltrate, is more so calling out what is and isn't Islam. Like I said, socialism is not Islam at all. So especially in America, Aber Kawas, again, I don't know if I'm saying her name right, I saw she's running for Senate. She just announced she's running for Senate. And again, whether she's secular Muslim and just using her faith as a way to get in, or she's being used by the socialists to get her in, because being black isn't enough of a minority anymore in America, and especially specifically in New York. So she's brown, that's one minority. Muslim, second minority, right? Hijabi, which is the next layer of Islam, right? So that's third. And then last, she's a woman.
بسم الله الرحمن